Hello, Forgers. This is Bondfree from L World, and this is FOE Advance. Today, I wanted to record just a Monday session of what I'm doing in Space Age Asteroid Belt. When you get into SAM and SAAB, there are some new things that happen, some new resources, there's some different terminology, and the gameplay changes a little bit. So I wanted to just give those of you that have never really had a glimpse of what it's like to work the game inside of SAAB. I was mainly just wanting to document this part of it. I will be moving up to the newest era when it opens up soon, and I won't really be able to capture what it's like to do this anymore. So I wanted to go ahead and record this so that as you may be aging up over time, maybe you're not even going to hit SAAB for another year or however long it is. I just keep getting comments and questions from other players who maybe just started the game a month ago or 2 months ago, and they want to know what there is to look forward to on the other side. So one thing that's really important to consider is getting your stores of supplies and coins built up before you start leveling up too quick. So even if you're back in, say, Tomorrow era or something like that, you really want to start paying very close attention to the amount of supplies you have on hand. Because when you want to do research to get into SAAB, to run through the tech tree, you're going to need 355 million supplies just to work the tree. Not to mention, I'm going to show you something else, which you haven't been used to if you have played only in lower eras, which is that it's going to cost a lot of supplies and coins to build the goods. A little bit different than prior. Now, one of the things I was wondering about when I first went into SAM and SAAB was, could I use sleigh builders to make my goods? And yes, you can. So I've got some sleigh builders around in my city. I just like this building a lot. I've had tons of these over the years of playing this game, and for a footprint of 2x3, it makes 15 goods in 24 hours. You get 5 of each good, which is really nice. It's not costing me anything except land space, which is a cost. But I loved the fact that you could build those goods using the sleigh builders. So the other thing I did is, as I aged up, speaking of sleigh builders, and you have event buildings as well, I trickled out which buildings I really was intentional about which buildings I aged up. So whether I used my one-up kits or my renovation kits. So in this case, like the Governor's Villa, I left it in SAM, and I'm in SAAB now. And the only reason I'm doing that was just so that I could hedge a continued production of SAM goods, just to kind of see what the market was like if I were going to trade down my SAAB goods for SAM goods. Like, what were those trades going to be picked up? Would they be, what would that look like? Like in the market right now, I'm always trading. So I have 14 pages of trades up right now, and I am able to trade. I've been finding that with the combination of friends I have and perhaps the neighborhoods I'm in, I'm able to trade down pretty quickly. I'll offer typically 100 SAAB goods for 175 SAM goods. Now it's not a fair trade, but this type of trade moves quicker, and I would rather get the trades done than not. Then I will turn around and I will trade down the SAM goods for VF goods, usually 100 SAM for 175 or 185 VF goods. So there's just a little bit of trade strategy there. If you are finding your trades aren't getting picked up, pay attention to who's picking up your trades and what's moving and what's not, and then you can create a whole trading strategy or just around that. Anyway, let's move on. So you'll notice here I have the Spaceport. This appears when you move into SAM. So the space shuttle shows up. When you're in SAM, this takes you to the SAM colony, the Spaceport. When you're in SAAB, it takes you to the SAAB colony, because when you go to SAAB, the SAM colony goes away. It vaporizes. It's gone. You might wonder, well, how do I keep making SAM goods? The only way, other than sleigh builders and event buildings, special buildings that you leave in previous eras, would be to build these SAM era goods buildings. So you can do, sorry, I'm looking at production buildings, fusion reactors, for example. I can build a fusion reactor building, but this kind of blows because it's a 3x3 building. It needs a 2-lane road, and it only puts out, a small amount. I forgot to research this, but it's not a ton, per day. I don't remember, it was maybe 20 goods or something. I just didn't even bother researching it because I see this as not a real good use of town space or city space, because there's other ways to get SAM goods, as I was talking about, trading down from SAAB or and so forth and so on. I don't need to go back over that. So that's why I don't build those. But when we go over back here to the spaceport, I was going to show you the it looks like my browser froze. Wonderful. I'm going to refresh because I hate editing, so sorry to put you through this, but it's just going to be a minute while this refreshes. So we're going to go through into the SAAB colony next, and we're going to look at what happens with your goods buildings, collecting goods, and how that sub-economy works, because the SAAB and SAM sub-economy is different than what you're used to. So I'm not sure why this is like freaking out on me. Not loading very well today. So I'm going to click on the spaceport and then head over to the colony here, which now you're going to see here is filled with various buildings, and I have a collection to do. So what I usually do is I look at my recurring quests because I want to collect goods that have been manufactured. So I'm just going to get rid of these quests that I never fulfilled, and I will make sure the right quest is up that I want, which is law and goods. This is the one I prefer to use when I collect goods. So gather 500 goods, and I have to defeat an army. So I'm going to just get going on that. Now these are credits. So you have 4 considerations in the economy, the sub-economy of this colony itself. So you have colonist population, you've got credits, life support, and of course you have goods. And then over here on the map, you have to go to the continent map, and then you end up at an exploration site. So there are 2 exploration sites. This is what they look like. So this is the special resource, the special good, which is asteroid ice, and that's associated with being in SAAB. So you want to keep collecting asteroid ice, because if you look at your goods inventory, then you're going to see down here as you move into, so once you get out of AF and you move into Arctic Future, you now have a special good. That's Promethium. So you need to collect that in order to move up into OF, which is Oceanic Future. So then you're going to need to collect your orichalcum, and I'll talk about those 2 things in a minute, but mostly focusing on SAAB here. So in other words, to move from AF to OF, I had to collect a bunch of Promethium so that I could explore the tech tree for OF. Then I had to collect this so I could explore the tech tree for Mars. And then obviously Mars ore, I had to have a ton of Mars ore. So this is a really key point to making a decision on moving to SAAB, because I decided to collect and hold on to 10,000 Mars ore before I moved into SAAB, because I wanted to make sure I had enough to quickly move through the tech tree and not be held back. Some people might say that's a little bit much. You could probably move in with about 3 or 4 or 5,000 Mars ore, but I wanted to wait till I had 10. In the same vein, the new era is coming out soon, and I didn't want to go in, kind of half-assed and not really know, because I don't know. I'm not on beta, and I don't know how much asteroid ice I'm going to need to unlock the tech in the new era. So my goal is to hold on to 10,000, and you can see here I have 11,000 right now. Well, that's going to diminish when I start to recharge my goods buildings. So I'm going to collect my credits. I'll get through this in a minute. So I'm going to collect my credits, and then obviously get my goods done. The two goods I can make are nickel and platinum. And it seems like platinum is always in very high demand in my world. So it's good that I have that because I get some trading power with that. Okay, so the credits are needed in order to mine the asteroid ice. So if I go over here, I'm not going to be able to, to mine this 139 asteroid ice unless I've paid to unlock that sector earlier on. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I'm just going to do a quick fight here. This is a great way to exercise your Himeji Castle if you're into that. You can also negotiate, so if you have a space carrier, so this creates a way for you to have 7-day a week negotiation opportunities when normally you might have to wait for that in GE or something like that. So here you can see now these sectors have different sized exploration sites. So you see how this one over here is smaller, this one's the largest. This one consistently puts out about 125 ice, which is really good, but that takes 24 hours. So your build time is 1 day, or your mining time. And I got to spend 17.5 credits to get going. So if I'm not producing credits in my colony enough, which are provided by residence buildings, then I'll run out of credits and I won't be able to mine. And I've done that before. So what I do is I kind of will delete these buildings over time if I've built up enough credits, and then I'll build more production buildings. So I kind of swap them out so that I can move in between. And then when I start getting low on credits, I'll delete the goods buildings and then put in the housing residence buildings, which provide the credits. Okay, you'll notice here, this is also another philosophical point that some members, never agree on, and others do that in our guild. But life support. So if you choose not to make the life support a priority in your town, you might as well not have any. You need to have it all or really have none, in my opinion. I mean, you get discounts. So what this translates to, the real life application is, if I have low life support, which is like the equivalent of unhappiness, right? Everybody's pissed. Then I have to pay more for this production run of goods. So I usually do a 1-day build, and I'm at 1.1, 1152 on both coins and on supplies. I don't care because, 4 or 5 eras ago, I started to really pay attention to how many goods I was creating based on boosts. So I just pay the money or pay the currency, and I just go. And so I'm going to construct all these goods, and then basically come back tomorrow. And in between, I can collect credits and stuff. These are on different time frames, but that's that. So the population, of course, controls how many goods buildings I can have in the colony. And right now, because I added more housing for more credits, I had to pull back on some of my quarries and stuff. So right now, this is what I'm able to produce with. It's still pretty good every day because I also have a really high Chateau Frontenac. So as I cycle quests through the RQs, the recurring quests, I will be getting plenty of goods. I didn't quite get to my 500, but I'll just leave that sitting there, because I have so many trades going. This will probably trigger in the next, hour or so. Somebody will pick up a 500 good trade or the 100 for 175. So that's that. The other thing I wanted to talk about, again, this comes up when you go into Arctic Future, you have an Arctic Harbor, but then you have the Oceanic, in OF, and then this. I thought it was interesting that they didn't create a different icon, if you will, for SAAB, but it's just because, like I said, your SAM colony just goes away. And by the way, you don't get any money back for the buildings that are gone or anything like that when you move out of SAM. It just vaporizes. So that's something to think about. We talked about all those economies and production of SAM goods. So that's pretty much what I have for today to show you how the nav differs from previous eras that are less advanced. And I hope this has been of some use to everyone, because I certainly wish I'd had some videos like this to look at when I was a younger player, not, younger in the game, early in the game. And I was excited about what was ahead, but my main motivation for leveling up as quickly as I could, but it was still at a very slow pace, was because I wanted more land tiles. I mean, land tiles are like everything in this game. So, and obviously my city is ready for a redesign. It's I keep making videos with this crazy looking city, and I'm in the process of running some spreadsheets to try to figure out what I want to get rid of. What do I rip out next? And I'll probably do some videos on that. Like, it pains me to think I'm going to be ripping out my cherry garden sets, and I'm using the dual level 2 Sakura rocks, because then you get the most attack benefit. So in a 5x5 area, I'm getting 20% attack boost, but I don't get all the benefits of the other goodies that you get, so I get one less forge point. And anyway, but I've deleted a few of these cherry gardens because there's other buildings to consider that are giving attack percentages, and it's just getting to the point where these are so big, I can just do better with the space. Also on my radar is the carousels. These are great at lower eras, but a 9 square that's giving me 8% isn't really that exciting. I much prefer the checkmate squares at 11%. And of course, depending on your era, the CMS will be a lower percentage. Again, this is another thing I do want to mention about SAAB, is that if you age up your various buildings, you are going to get a benefit out of them. In some cases you get a higher attack percentage, like the CMS for sure. Checkmate square, you're going to get more coins, and you're going to get, at some point, you can go to the wiki and look up these buildings, because it'll tell you which eras, they bump up, and that's where you want to look to renovate. If you look at somebody who isn't really paying attention to what they're doing in their town, they may have an Olympic treasury that's in, I don't know, like Oceanic Future, but they're in SAAB, and they're not getting all the benefits. Now, they may want to keep it in Oceanic Future because they want OF goods out of that building, but they're going to get less supplies, and they're going to get less coins, etc. So the population and other attributes that go with the building. Anyway, so keep an eye on that. There is a lot of fun to be had in SAAB and SAM, in my opinion, because the troops get so damn powerful. I mean, even if your attack percentages aren't huge, I mean, it's amazing. The units are just so solid. And so in the case of SAAB, the go-to is the Nailstorm. The go-to in SAM is going to be the Steel Warden. So that's a heavy unit. So 2 Steel Wardens, 6 Rogues, auto everything. In SAAB, it's 2 Nailstorms, 6 Rogues, auto everything. And that pretty much just makes it super simple to fight. So if you have any questions, or if I messed something up, which I probably did on this video, because I just was kind of doing a stream of consciousness, let me know, comments, questions, anything I can do to help. That's mainly why I'm doing this channel. I want to get deeper on some topics and get into percentages and things like that, but iPenguin Pat does such a good job of that stuff. I feel like he really covers it. His channel, he's had for a while, a lot longer than mine. FOE or FO Elite is his YouTube channel. I highly recommend checking out some of his stuff. My interest right now is to help earlier players get a grasp on the fundamentals and show them the real practical aspects of the game. Sometimes because it's easy to overlook things and not know certain things that give you those light bulb moments. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time, and forge on.